Okay, so this is going to be a pre-intro recorded at the very end. And the question you're going to ask is there a budget version? The answer is a flat no. This is a definitely not budget version. It is a very end-game, very advanced mechanics, advanced interactions kind of build. So there's a lot of crafting involved, there's adorned involved. Every piece of gear that I have is purely crafted. Pantheon's here, so that's done. Passives are not, we're taking oak. What else people always ask, can you do battle maps? Yes, I can. Can you do void maps? You technically could, but I wouldn't because you risk dying into embezzler. Questions would be, is there a budget version, like a not so expensive version? I would say yes, because you can follow the following guide or following introduction here. Is there a budget version? And do you need original sin? And the answer to that is, I think so for budget, and no for original sin. Now the reason for that is because Penance Brand has an innate 50% conversion to lightning. Now this means that without OSIN, you would only do half of your physical as chaos, as poison, and the other half would be lightning, which we cannot poison. Now, in 3.24, we have the new cluster, or the new notable for Unholy Might, where you get 100% conversion to chaos. Now, this means that the total conversion is now diluted by physical converted to chaos, which means Penance Brand now has 50% lightning and 100% chaos. And when you skew that in the conversion ratios, it's now 33% lightning and 66% fizz to chaos, which means you get actually more damage than before. Now, regarding OSIN, is not necessary for this build for that reason specifically. To break down the build mechanics, let's go over what I mean by cast while channeling, infused channeling, cast with damage taken, Penance Brand, cast with damage taken, corpse back. Okay, let's start from the beginning. We are using cast when channeling here, supported to Cyclone, as you all know, and this is our first channeling setup to proc Forbidden Rite. Now, what does Forbidden Rite do? Well, Forbidden Rite is actually a skill that causes you to deal a percentage of your maximum life and energy shield to you as chaos. So it will bypass ES and hit you with chaos, but that doesn't matter because we have machinations. So this is our source of cast, well, our source of damage taken that we can guaranteed output or input in this case, yeah. So that's our first core engine, Forbidden Rites. Now, why Forbidden Rites? Is because we can channel this non-stop and permanently cast this to take damage to ourselves, which is then recouped as you can see in this shield, life, and a little bit of mana over there. Now, infused channeling is just a bonus, right? You add this to here to give yourself a buff for physical damage reduction. So we have a look at here, infused channeling here, and the skill jump tags we have for channeling is melee, physical, AoE, attack, etc. Whatever. These tags will apply to infused channeling. Now, this is the first part. The second part is, of course, cast damage taken, and we have a Penance Brand linked here into our +2 chest. I tried +4 is obviously way better, but I'm on my own budget. Like I'm broke as hell. So that's a first setup. Our second setup will be our curses. So we automate our curses too. I hate using more than one button, so our curses are done for us here. Our next setup will be our flesh offering and cast damage taken. This is so we can consume corpses to give us more cast speed with flesh offering, which I'll go over in a bit. And this is also supported by cast when damage taken, Awakening Spell Cascade, Desecrate, and Volatile Dead. So this is a very powerful combo for any triggered necromancer for corpse back. And I'll go with Ascendancy in just a bit. Lastly, our auras, we use Malevolence with Petrified Blood as a spell, not an aura, it's a spell. We have Herald Ash, which is a herald, not an aura. I also swap with Arctic Armor, which is a spell, not an aura. And finally, Enlighten. While I'm at it, because my gears are optimized, my builds are optimized. There's a lot of room for improvement for me personally. These boots are temporary, for example. You know, these are lesser implicit. There's a lot for me to work on, which is why I love this game. Now, obviously I have a mage blood. I think you cannot do this build without a mage blood, because we need to have this suffix here. This suffix is extremely important because when you do recoup occurs over time, and if you look at this right now, if I spin down, my life will just go straight down, but over time it'll come back up. Well, it should come back up if I have enough recoup, because well, yes, you can see I don't have enough recoup. Now, when you have damage taken from hits, it's leech's life effect. This is multiplied by mage blood, so now we get a huge leech recovery. As you can see on the HP pool, it's like 3 sections. There's a light section and a dark section, and in between will be your true HP level. The top part is what is going to be leech from damage, and the bottom part is the petrified deferred damage. And you can see as over time, it jumps up and down, depending on the recoup amount that you have. Now, our recoup is supported by the main name of the build, of course, 9 lives. Now, 9 lives, what does it do? 9 lives is a notable. Oh, it doesn't show here on PB. Only on PB as it shows over here. So 9 lives gives you 25% recouped as life, recouped as mana, and recouped as energy shield. So you have 25% recouped as everything, and it gives you this mastery here, right there. Life recoup effects instead occur over 3 seconds. Now this means your recoup is the same amount total, but it's faster. The duration is faster, so there's less delay, and that's very, very good to increase like your fastest, your maximum recovery amount. So that is our setup for our first flask. Our second flask is the shock immunity, because we don't have purity of elements as my old build, which gave full element immunity. And the next flask will be cast speed, which, although I do swap with spell leech, I'll go over this in a little bit. And lastly, we have some curse effects. And so these are our core flasks that we do really need mage blood for, because we need this uptime as much as we can. We have to have this to really recover our HP. Now, there are other sources of damage taken from hits is leeched or recovered as life. However, those sources all say enemies. So, for example, Blood Notch, if I have one, will say enemies. And I can't find my Blood Notch. That's okay. But Blood Notch is specifically for enemies, and all, so almost everything's for enemies except for this one that I know of. So for the Ascendancy, as you've just seen, there's a lot of synergy here with corpses and necromancer. So we have exceptional synergy with necromancer. But before I talk about this, let's first talk about machinations. So machinations is a shield with 6 keystones, and they're all from the Timeless Jewels, except for Everlasting Sacrifice. So Everlasting Sacrifice is a special property of machinations, and they give you +5 max auras when you reach full energy shield, and you sacrifice it all. Now, I'm using Petrified Blood, which means Immortal Ambition does not work, because our leech will never be at full life, so leech will never swap over to energy shield. So to regain energy shield, we're using the Forbidden Rites damage taken to start regenerating energy shield, you know, because we're recouping with 9 lives as energy shield. Now in maps, in real scenarios, this is going to be much faster and much higher, because we'll have 1 node of spell leech here, and depending on what you want, spell leech here as well, if you need it. In the bossing scenarios or some like isolated scenarios, you could go with that. So that's our first thing about the machinations. The second thing is Divine Flesh. Divine Flesh gives us 5 max res, and Well, when combined with Temper by War, we have now 0 damage taken as cold or lightning, which means we can focus everything onto fire and chaos. Now, I should optimize my build, have more chaos res to like get closer or even above to 9090, but you know, I'm really stretched right now. I don't have the currency anymore, and that's a big issue, which I will solve hopefully soon, but I'm not really sure right now. As you can see, it's all fire and chaos. That's the second part of the shield. The third part of the shield is that when we have Vow Pact, we have increased recovery from life leech. Honestly, I don't know. I don't fucking know how this works. Honestly, that's only know those two. That's the most important. Oh yeah, Corrupt the Soul. So Corrupt the Soul gives us max life as ES, which means proportionally is only 15%. So we really want to scale our life and keep our energy shield down. So on my int, I try to keep my int as low as possible. If I take off, say, this, my gear's off, right? I keep it as low as possible. That's probably the last thing about the shield. The implicits you can just YOLO because these are so cheap. Because look, there are so many ultimate farmers this league. I wonder why. And you know, there's a long ton of these shields. Now, back to the synergy with the ascendancy. So the ascendancy is very, very strong. Let's go first. Sacrifice. So this means that offering skills also affect you. First part, so our flesh offering gives us cast speed, which again increases the trigger rate of Penance Brand. So let's go with Penance Brand one more time. Penance Brand activates while attached and increases in reduction to cast speed applied to the skill's activation frequency. So let's have a quick look at Penance Brand. We can see that our cast per second is 2.84. And if we put Penance Brand here, we can see that the trigger rate is 0.24, 0.23. So what I can do is I can start spinning. I have to spin the corner, and you can see the activation rate skyrockets, right? It's going down and down and down and down and down. That's because we are... I forgot to bring in... That's okay. That's fine. I can't spawn the corpses here really well. You can see that our cast speed goes higher to 5.7, 5.7, and we have activation of 0.12. So you can see that cast speed gives us more activations per second. Now, this is helped with flash offering. Now, the second part, which is the really also like underrated part, is 40% increased skill effect duration. Well, so why is it so good? Two things. One, it means your brands they last longer, so they can do more triggers at maximum energy. So your brands are attached for longer, they deal more damage, etc. The second part is that your poisons last longer. They put an asterisk there because I don't know for sure, but I'm under the guise, or I'm as far as I know, this affects your poison as well. So this is very powerful for poison and any duration style ability. So flesh offering, yeah, etc., etc. You get the point. Now to the core part of the build. It's corpse pack, because we are using Forbidden Rite to trigger our cast damage taken non-stop for, as you saw, Desecrate, and if I pick up the MTX, you can see how many volatile deads there are. So let's take them off, and well, let's go. You can see that. Is this glitched? I didn't take it off. Okay. We start spinning. There's fireballs everywhere. Yeah, it's just everywhere. Fireballs everywhere. Now, one thing I should emphasize here is that you actually do need a Awakening Spell Cascade. So the reason, I'm not really sure why, but when you use Awakening Spell Cascade, it means your volatile dead. I believe it would do 5 per time instead of Cascades 2. So we take a look, we check it, so we visualize the difference, right? It's a bit slower when you use non-cascade Awakening Spell Cascade, and you can often see the cast speed doesn't quite go as high or as fast. You know, it will equilibrium. It's like not even the max yet. You know, it's barely getting there. So let's go all the way back down because it's recently, and we'll go from 0. So it's like going 4, 5, 5.6, 5 point doesn't even hit it. Doesn't even hit it. So if we compare this to Awakened to a Cascade, well, you can see the difference immediately. So goes to 4, goes to 5, goes to 5.75. Done. So you have to have Awakened to a Cascade. And I mean that does make me think that last league for my DD build, I did have Awakening Spell Cascade in my discrete, but I'm not so sure if it was necessary for my budget builds on my DD build. So maybe we do need Awakening Spell Cascade on on Desecrate. That's a heads up for there. Now this is of course our cast speed proc with a nearby corpse pack. So it's first part of corpse pack. The next part of corpse pack is enemies near corpus you spawn recently are chilled and shocked. This means even though for me with OSIN, with full conversion to chaos, I can still apply cold and shock. Sorry, chill and shock. Now this synergizes very, very well with these clusters. Sadist gives you 25 and 15 for 40% damage. And on my previous EA build, like the last league, it'll be all 60% because you ignite as well. But I couldn't figure out a way to get a cheap or like an efficient way for ignite for just 20% damage. I couldn't get it. So it is what it is. And we use elemental damage here as well because it's all convert for me. I'll talk about conversion in a bit. It's very good. And this is the second part of Corpse Pack. Now, Plague Bringer is also really good because AoE means that your penance brands will overlap with each other and they will apply poisons to each other enemy nearby, which means in a big pack with poison penance brand, the mobs will get like 7 to 8 poisons per tick because every other poison is applying to every other mob. So it's like it's squared. It's basically squared, yeah. So that's very good in terms of AoE, which is very good. And then nearby corpses, you deal more damage. Enemies deal more reduced damage. It's just generically powerful. Now the last part, which means all 4 nodes are very important, is Essence Garden. So Essence Garden means that for each nearby corpse and consumed corpse, you regenerate energy shield. So although Machination says you cannot regenerate life, so the maximum total life regeneration is 0, like no regen life. It's not ES regen, so you can regen ES. You can do this. You can visualize it by firstly, we'll go and start casting. You can see our ES is going up. It's slow, of course. It's slow without any mobs. It's slow. Yeah, it's kind of slow. Yep, but it gets worse. It gets even slower when we take it off. So we take this off. Let it go to the bottom, and we can check how slow it is going to be. Please, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And let's go again. And this is now going to be really slow. Or not. But you get the point. It helps, right? It helps. Maybe I'm crazy, but maybe that's faster. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it. Anyway, that's Essence Garden. Alternatively, you can also take Command of Darkness for just generic damage and cast speed, but it's a little mid in terms of ascendancies. So that's ascendancies. Yeah. So let's talk about conversions. Conversions in PoE they scale. So whatever your conversion is scaled up to 100%, and that's it. You can never convert more than 100%, but you can scale things over 100% down to 100. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, by having our 50% conversion of lightning scaled to a 150% with chaos, that means our 50% conversion is now only 33%. This means we gain bonus damage when we use Penance Brand. Now the next part about conversion, which is very good for OSIN, and when I say very good, I mean extraordinarily good is the fact that you can convert to gain the properties of the converted element before converting it again to gain the properties of the next element. So in PoE, the conversion cycle is cold, no, lightning to cold to fire to chaos. So it's in that way forward. It's never backwards, okay? So Penance Brand does physical damage with half converted to lightning. Now, for my build, let's talk about Ocean conversions. So for Ocean conversions, we have half converted to lightning already, which means now it's half physical, half lightning. In this case, let's call it elemental, because that's how everything's got anyway. So the next part is to gain more conversion to reach 100%. So we do this on our gloves. Now these are some pretty nice gloves. Unfortunately, low rolls, but I mean, I didn't expect to get this glove anyway. It was a lucky double fracture that was very, very unintended. If you see, the implicit has 15% conversion to cold, and our prefix is now 35. So now that's 50% converted to cold. Now this combined with our default 50% means there's 100% converted to cold and lightning. Now, rather than convert this to fire, we can instead fully convert this to chaos. So why is this so powerful? The reason why it's so powerful is because now this chaos damage has the properties of 100% elemental. And what I mean by that is say there's 100 points of converted damage in the end, but all 100% used to be elemental. It all used to be elemental, which means things like elemental overload, which is here, more elemental damage means that your skills, your poison damage or chaos damage is now considered elemental, and you do 40% more chaos damage. Now the next part is also that when you have things like increased chaos damage here, this if it was only half converted, say half physical, half lightning, it means that this would only apply to the lightning portion, the 50% lightning that was converted to chaos. So it'll be half chaos, half physical. But because we have chaos damage now fully converted, this has full effect on your damage. And this applies over and over again as a key concept of this build. So you see that the implicit elemental is very good. We have elemental focus over here, which is more elemental damage. We have unbound elements and so on. It's just more and more. So more extra physical here as fire damage and plus one skill gems. Of course, it is impeccable to have full conversion. So that's the first type of conversion for OSIN. Now, going back to a quote budget setup, is that if you don't have OSIN, we can see the properties is now cold, fire, and lightning, and this is because it's all being converted. So what you want to do is take this off. Now it's going to be, where's my conversion from? Oh, it's my boots here. Take this off, right? Do I still have PB? Let's put PB by itself, isolated, over here, PB. Now you see that it's only physical and lightning only, which means the physical part is the only portion doing chaos damage in the or poison damage in the end, because physical and chaos can both poison. Now, like I said earlier, because we have an overwhelming malice for unholy might, this means that this percentage can now be scaled to a greater degree. So, for example, it would become like say 200 to 400 physical and like 100 to 200 lightning. So it's like reversed almost, but more than reversed. So that's why it's possible to have a non-OSIN converted PB, which is actually a fairly common build in 3.23 when it first came out. So you could have no OSIN conversions. Okay, so that is conversions for PB. Okay, let's go over the skill tree. The skill tree is very strange, very, very strange. It's nothing like you would ever see. So we start with Witch, we go to the left, and we take Runebinder. Runebinder is is mandatory. It's mandatory for two reasons. One, you can have more than one brand on an enemy, and two, the way PB works is that the energy stacks from the first brand is the full stack. It's the only stack that's counted. There's one tracker, and the second brand, when it attaches, it will continue from that stack up to 20, which means when first stack goes to 15, second stack comes along, now they're both going up to 20. First one expires, it's still a 20. The third brand comes along, it's a 20. So you need the zigzag, the jumping over for Broombinder to get it's like a gigantic damage boost to PB, like gigantic. It's a mandatory. Now this pathing means I go over here for dual sockets, come down here for dual sockets, max fire res here, dual sockets. Now I was considering having duration here for brands plus brand attachment range. So brand attachment range is really convenient for clear speed. Convenient, but I wouldn't say mandatory. Just convenient. And we have our dual sockets over here, passing down here to EB. So we have mana cost. So let's take a quick look at the mana cost. Okay, the mana cost for PB, well, it's massive. It's 131 mana and 56 life. So this is because the multiplier for cast damage taken is 250%. So when you see the ES chunk, oh my god, put this, yeah, that's fine. When you see our ES chunk, you see chunk and chunk and chunk. That's paying for the cost of the skill. It's gigantic. So the EB to pay for it. Maybe if the mana pool was better, so if I had better reservation, which I'm looking into with a crafted chest for Necropolis, mana reservation 5 pen, you know, it could be, you could split it between mana and ES together, which would give you more ES recovery in the end. So 1 point here for spell leech if you don't have a flask. Honestly, it's really optional. Like, it doesn't matter. I've been swapping around a lot to just experiment. And we come across here. Now, this is the cool part. But I'm back now here. So as I was talking, I was buying these prismatic sublime visions for like 2 div each. And I throw 1 divine on a low roll, hit something above 30, and send it straight to temple. Now, this is the best that I got. Even though I would say CB or Aura Reservation is better, because this doesn't scale with Adorned. And speaking of Adorned, this is an Adorned tree. Now, I have my 144 Adorned here, and this is boosting all my magic jewels that are corrupted. Now, I spent days and days and days buying, corrupting, selling, buying, corrupting, selling. I have a graveyard selling. There's jewels everywhere to sell. Current gear, old gear, jewels, all corrupted, etc. I've been selling them, etc. EA should have some here as well, you know, non-stop. It's a pain. It's expensive, but it pays off. Why does it pay off? It's because, well, we want 3 out of 5 stats from jewels. So the first one is shock effect, curse effect, bleed duration, ignite duration, curse duration, or curse effect. So those 5 are the most important corruptions you want. Why? Because if you get 3 of those on your implicit, which means you can use 2 on your flasks. So you know, 2 flask immunities and 3 corruption immunities. So what do I mean by corruption immunities? Well, I have a jewel here that says 24% reduced poison, and a jewel here that says 23%. So if you look at the bottom corner, it says 56% reduced poison duration on you. When you combine these two together, you have 114% reduced duration of poison on you. So what does this mean? This means that when poisons are applied to you, they are now reduced by 114%, and it's 0. It's literally 0. You are basically, and I guess theoretically, immune to poisons, because no duration means no damage. And if the good part about this is that even against enemies that have increased duration of poison, that's increasing their poison. their increased total poison is now at a fixed value, the max value, whatever it is, and then when it's applied to you, is reduced afterwards. Think about it as when you scale your damage up to 1 billion DPS, and the enemy has, so let's say, you know how Wither works. So Wither has enemies take increased damage. That means that it's a second calculation. So your 1 billion damage is now increased by 90%. So it's now 1.9 billion damage, right? It's a multiplier. So when you do it the other way around, you multiply the other way around fully to 0. It's not to half, it's to 0. And so that's why poison, bleed, and light, they are durations that go to 0. So it's very powerful for immunities, right? That's how I focused the build on last league for my void farmer, because it's super powerful. It's super powerful. Now we are looking mostly for Riku. So because we are doing so much self damage, we want Riku. I have 3 Riku jewels here, I think. Yep. And this is wrong. This should not be in. Yeah. And then we can go for damage over time multiplier. Honestly, suffixes are where we get all our damage from. Our suffixes are mostly scaled, to poison duration here, and poison damage over time multiplier, for example. And we can add on other stuff like poison damage, faster elements on a prefix if you want. It's flexible, up to you. There's no fixed necessary requirements. Moving down here, we take a veterate, of course, with suppression mastery. It is the best mastery in the game. It's unbelievably strong. And with this little pride, which I bought for 3 divines on day 3, because I was live searching it since the beginning, I know which ones are good. And you have 5% here and 5% here. And Temper by War. Now, obviously, if you can't get these jewels, because I know they are mega expensive now, just go for 1. Just either or. Either or is fine. I know that there's like 90 combinations of a single, and it's fine. It's 5%. Whatever. Now tattoos. Tattoos I use journey tattoo of the body. 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So we're spending 5 points for 5 times. Well, you can see 3 here of 75 life. However, we are anointing Beef. Beef is anointed on my amulets to allocate the 4th tattoo for 100 life per point. So now we're getting 100, 100, 100, 100. So that's 100, also 400 life for 5 points and an anoint. And because we are using Survive Vision Prismatic, we have our 2nd curse, even though, which means we don't need our Whistles of Doom anoint, right? So I literally bought a new amulet to wear, so I don't break my old build. So here's my old amulet, right? Whistles of Doom, new amulet, Beef. So that will be mostly covered. I don't think I missed anything for the passive tree. That will be the explanation and breakdown for passive tree. Additionally, I forgot to mention, we want our intelligence to be as low as possible, but not too low. So I need 159 int, or 155 with a level 20 flash offering. So 159, and we are converting all our int nodes into reduced criticals. So we're getting our critical immunity, well, quote immunity, from full conversions here, which means I could in the future use an all res or damage or whatever corruption on the Scholar's Flame instead. Assuming I will stick with Scholar's Flame. We can also fix our poison chance, which is important here. Like I said earlier, this is the wrong jewel here. This jewel is wrong, so this should be, it should be a poison chance, something like that. Yeah, 101. And we can, we can finish off our poison chance with these tattoos over here on these int nodes. And I have suppressed nodes here, move speed nodes here, because why not? And I believe I am at the very limit. I am at 50 tattoos on my tree. All 50. Life region doesn't work because Well, we have this shield here, so no life regen. So that's the tattoos. So, what are the hardest things and most important things to get, as well as overall complications of the build? So, number one, these two are now skyrocketing in price, mainly because they're really rare, and because well, no one really uses them, so they're not normally paid attention to until a build comes out. And I think Django's build came out like yesterday or the day before with an order bomber. So now the demand shot up, and more often than not, eventually most Forbidden Right builds also take this as well. But yeah, I bought this early on because I knew I was going to make this build. I had it in PoB already, and I have, it's such a cool jewel that I had to have them. So go for cheap. Now, currently this is 90, and this is 300. I would never pay that much for that. So this is a huge limitation for the build because you must have these two to enable your sacrifice on your energy shield. So that's number one. Number two, Ocean. I said earlier that it's optional, but Ocean is. I mean, I would say, let's just look at my PoB. All PoB, it was even here. Is this showing? Let me look at my original PoB then. Okay. Back, don't save. Here we go. If I take off Ocean, let's say my damage here is 26 million. It's bad. That's really bad. That's because I'm converting. So if I take off the gloves, it should be a bit better. Well, I said honestly, I truly believe that you can get a budget version going. I will have to theory craft one for you guys, and I'll probably do it in a later video if there's interest. I'm very sure you can do a quite budget version. Quite meaning you have Forbidden Flesh, Forbidden Flame. So it's not in budget anymore. It's basically if I have the Flame Flesh setup, but not Ocean. So I will try something for that budget quotation marks range, but no guarantees. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of fucked. Now the other complications will be gearing. So, well, adorned is expensive, and so are the jewels. These jewels I have are custom made. These gloves are custom crafted. These boots were, they were supposed to be custom crafted, but I fucked up. So it's stuck as it is for now. And I have plans for a chest that's custom crafted, but unlikely. Now, I might play a clip or not, but I made this scepter by accident. My planned fractures was all level physical or spell skill gems. So think about that. All spell skill gems or spell physical. So how the fuck did I fracture damage over time and lightning spell skill gems? I have no idea how I did it, but I think this is a one-of-a-kind item because, as you guys should know, lightning is insanely hard to target and on anything to like Ruvad and anything. Like lightning is really hard to target, and I have no idea how I did it. I have no idea. So then to combine it with damage over time is just like 1 in a million. I think 1 in a million. I got kind of unlucky and lucky crafting it. So do you need this scepter? No. Will it help? Well, let's have a take a look. Is it a live build? I'll do a live build. So live imports. Of course, my profiles are always public. So also, if you look at the void, this is my character last league that I first did in the void. So let's look at my void character first. It's same thing, but a little bit different. It was a hybrid life mana, with a Forbidden Flame Flesh over here, landlines, and we're going to mess around with the. Yeah. I should speak on this. Dawnbreaker with Purifier is by far better. By far better. The problem is the purity of Sublime Vision, Purifier. Well, it's 1.5 fucking mirrors. Can you believe it? This is 1.5 mirrors for a Sublime Vision. Unbelievable. So that's why I'm using Machination. So if I could improve my setup, I would go Sublime Vision. And I don't think I need to go over that because, well, I've gone through it many times before on my other videos, and so has everyone else. And that's for the future, right? I can't do that. This is my old setup, very similar. But this was a hybrid, so I was taking damage with Might of a Mana to Eldritch Battery as well. So we split the damage across all 3 life pools or mana pools or whatever. That was the mitigation source. So how did I die? So I was doing the map that gave voices on Graveyard, and well, I forgot about Corrupted Blood. If I look carefully, I should have no CB immunity here, because I think I took it out by accident. I was moving jewels around, and I accidentally removed Corrupted Blood. I'm pretty sure there's no CB. Yeah, I took CB out by accident. So now, yeah, I was swapping this jewel specifically. I was taking this jewel out to swap around, and I don't remember what, and I took off CB, and I didn't realize until I died. So I was doing the map where you had the Dodre boss that has a he gives you the degen to the stacks of increased damage taken, so 10% per stack, I think. And I had 10 stacks on a boss map that's all ghosted, and I couldn't see anything, like there's no visibility, and I was degenning, and I degened to death, and I died. So that's how I died on this character there. So there's potential for voids, because, well, I put it into voids, I killed void bosses and everything, but yeah, one mistake, and I lost the character. So back to my live build, we'll go to Necropolis. Here, oh, one more thing, level 100, very important. We are so starved on everything that you just have to have it. Now, firstly, I'm not sure how to configure PB. I usually set it to 16, and I set configs on skills full DPS to 16. That's what I did. I don't know if it's like correct or not, but that's what I did. How come it's not showing damage? Yeah. Is the items gone? I don't know. I can't really remember what I did, but I think I'm at like 11 million on Ubers. I don't really know. It's really hard to justify to judge, but we can first. I already forgot what I was talking about. Here, so it was with the scepter. I'm brain dead. I forgot. So we can see the scepter is freaking crazy. You know, let's just pretend it's a real DPS. Take it off, it's a lock on. However, there are alternatives. So the Dark Seer is very good. It's not as good obviously, but it's still very good and gives you huge well, you can set the life ES version or life mana. It will be very useful for sure. So now we up a little bit, but it doesn't really count because you should add enemies with the passive. I forgot what it's called, malevolence something. Next up is, well, last league I had a dagger. You can make a dagger that's very easy to craft. It should look something like this. A dagger that is a rune dagger. You have +1/+1, so spell skill gems. So you will alteration spam for this. You can guarantee a reforged physical. Sorry, yeah, reforged physical. Or spell skill gems, and you can do whatever prefix you want. You can just go multi-mod, multiple crafted modifiers. Multiple crafted Yep, here you go. I'm gonna take a chaos damage on the prefix. Chaos damage prefix. And then chaos damage suffix. Chaos damage over time suffix. Done. So you can get this for very cheap. Very cheap. You just like this league harvest really cheap, so it's like 5 div or so. And the best part is you can buy a synth dagger. So last league I had synth daggers that I was buying with I believe, I'm not sure it was actually poison hit, but I don't think so. So you can go for chaos damage, damage over time, poison duration, faster poisons. Those are all implicits you can find on a dagger. So you know what? So I'll do live search. So firstly, we'll do this. We'll add this here. And we can see that compared to our dagger, it's not even that. Why am I using Infernal Blade? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yep. I'm missing a suffix as well. It's fine. Oh, you could reforge. You could reforge speed first. So give a cast speed. We'll do that. Give us some cast speed, like tier 5, whatever. In the middle. Here you go. Tier 4. Like that. Yep. Perfect. Now this obviously is compared to this not as good. So 2 million, 1.3. You know, this is almost mirror to the other one. Fair enough. Now what you can do is I'll go bring up our trade site. We can search for so we go for rune dagger, item category, rune dagger. Let me just double check that you can see this. You can, and we go. Usually I look for triple implicit. So we got implicits up to you 2. Last leg you get 3, and we look for poison. So a search string would be at counts. Well, let's look for at least 1, I guess, but poison damage. Yep. Poison duration. And then we have chaos damage. We have, this should be implicits, sorry. Yep. Implicits. That's wrong. Poison duration. Here. Chaos damage. And I think it's imp damage over time. And there should be one more, which is damage poison buster, which is better for clear speed, but not for bossing. So we look at this on Necropolis online. Well, there's 270. Well, let's look at non-uniques. So we got some synth jewels here. So sorry, some synth. So look, 56%. Oh, it's cropped it. Not cropped it. No. Some of you guys have been asking for a very long video. So here you go. Here's a fucking long video. You have a lot of options here. I think it goes up to 26. Yeah, 26 maximum. Look at this. Look at this dagger. That's 49% damage with poison that you can bless. No, you can't. That's incredible, right? Oh, here's another one. There's 2. There's more, right? So you know fire damage works as well, right? Or lightning damage. Physical damage as well. You know, there's a lot of modifiers you can get on implicits. So if we just add this one here for 70C as 49% damage, so we do it here. Here be our dagger now has let's say add modifier. Let's go edits and go down. Let's put it here. Okay, we go 49% increased damage with poison. I think should work. Yep, that should work. Same thing. It's all the same thing. Now a dagger is now much better, and compared to this, it is 2.1 to 1.5. So you don't need such a crazy weapon. You can just get away with it. Now let's go to the gloves. The poison hit is actually trash. Okay, so why is it trash? I was whining about it on stream because, well, let's put it this way. 1 tattoo equals 5% poison chance. You know, assuming you're not capped out. So if you have 10 tattoos, equals 50% poison chance. Yep. But 10 tattoos is also, well, 100 int. So if you do it in half, it'd be 5 tattoos, 25 poison, and 50 intelligence. Which means, this suffix I have is actually bad because it's my glove. My glove is 20% poison on hit equals 40 int. So 40 int is not good because you can go essence for 58 int, which is better than 40 int, right? So you get what I mean. The glove poison is a unfortunate downside that was unexpected. Yeah. So ideally, if you have the poison, so if the int on the gloves, just go for int. And do you give a fuck about, you know, what 12% poison duration? Not really. Like, I min rolled it, so what, you know? It can be much better. You can fix your resistances or whatever much easier. My boots are not even that crazy. It's just self-crafted with essences on the fracture. Done, you know? Glove, this is the ring I was using since day 3 of the league. Same ring since day 3. It's not even that good. It's good enough. I want to replace it with a vermilion ring. So yeah, we should have to see how it is. Would you need to pick up EO on the tree? You don't use to do that stuff. Yes, you can. So, oh yeah, you would have to take EO on the tree if you use the decker. So it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off, of course. Or you can also craft this on a oscillating scepter if you want as well. Same thing. Correct, absolutely correct. You can just use a. Honestly, if you take this plus EO, you aren't far behind. Yeah, 1.976. Take it off. Items. You know what? Let's just check. We'll make this a oscillating scepter. I hope I will delete this. You know. 2 L's. There we go. Save. Now this is when you compare this with this, it is. We'll take this off here. It is. Well, this is 2.1, and this is 1.4. It's missing EO, so it'll be EO here. Yeah, yeah. There you go. 1.8. That's the difference. It's not huge. It's not huge. It's not huge. So items that we talk about. What else can I ramble on about? I think that's it. Oh, some final things to consider is what bricks this build. So things that brick this build is well, number 1, and the only one I can really think of is less AoE on T17s and with less defenses on T17s, because this scales up to a certain amount where your energy shield is too small to cast your spells. For now, at least. For now. And the last one is recovery rate. Yep. When you have less recovery rate of anything, you're fucked, right? We are solely relying on recoup and things that are recovery rate, and when you have less recovery rate, you're dead. Now this also extends to void maps. So this is a character that cannot, well, unless you log out and skip the map entirely, but you can't really do fear that has the ghost. Mind blank. Embezzler's touch. The Embezzler's touch is a ghost that applies a decreased recovery rate on you, and well, you die. Because you have 0 recovery rate. It's literally 0. It's 100% less. Did you get fucked by Deadly then? No, it's okay, because you don't go to fully 0. I think you go to 50%, which is okay. It's fine. That should be called something touch. So there's debilitating touch for blast, I think. There's a hint. There's the movement speed one. Yeah, you get what I mean. And I just remember one more thing is what the fuck's with the HP pool? So why is the half reserve? So because we are using this cast channeling to proc our air life, notice that our life pool at times it is below it's below max, right? So actually, if you think about it, if you're taking damage from your own self damage so much, then at many points of time your max hit is actually lowered by that amount. So our max hit is actually below our max HP, which is why we need an unreserved maximum. So you don't have to have all unreserved, but the way I fit my gems, this is how it is. And so why is it so important? Well, it's the same thing as before with Defiance. Defiance says missing unreserved HP. So Defiance will treat our entire HP pool, whole HP pool, as our unreserved. And if I go down to here, before I get hit, I'll heal technically up to here. But because I can only heal up to full life, then I'm not considered to be under full life, because for hits at least, because other than degen, you heal first and take the hit. So is this a build guide? I don't think it is. It's a bit of a chat or ramble. Hopefully this is a guide that maybe some will take, because these jewels are impossible to get. Yep, well, that should be it. Questions in the comments. If you really want a full build guide, it's I could do it for budget version 2. I'm not really sure. Catch me on stream sometimes. Twitch.tv/scene, and yeah, okay, bye bye. So, a bit of an amendment. I forgot my pantheons. My pantheons are Lunaris and Shikari. Only for reduced damage taken. I don't give a shit about anything else besides reduced chaos here. And I don't care about anything else besides physical and elemental. These are the generic good pantheons. You can, depending on what you have on your flasks and jewels, take whatever else you want. So, reduce shock effects, stack with your jewels for 100%. Less duration with night also stacks. It's if you're paying this many divines for a build this complicated, you better think. Okay, this is not a plug and play build. This is a very, very I wouldn't say hard or complex. I would say it's an in-depth and embedded build. Like, it's all clicked together, and by the time you put it together, you should have a clear idea on what you are looking for. And yeah. And is there a 10 divine league side version? No. Can I do void maps? No, I'm not gonna do that because I will die on this character. There is no budget version for sure. I mean, to like there's nothing under 500 divines, I'd say. I think with 500 divines, you could comfortably try to get the jewels, mage blood, adorned. Yeah. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. Okay, done.